distinguished discussions. We got Mike Toney, you know, one of a kind. You know, Mike, you have an interesting story, man. It's like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, but your father was the keyboard player for B.B. King.
Yep.
You had a front row seat to a different level of success, you know what I mean, in this industry, man. So thank you for taking the time out, you know, to sit with us, man. But I want to pick your mind, man. And what this whole segment is about is just sharing the opinion from a more distinguished perspective. You know, being able to articulate your thoughts, you know, having your own opinions, but still, you know, keeping it cool. So with you having the upbringing that you had and the exposure that you had, you know, I have to know what's your take on, you know, music today in the state as a whole. Like, you know, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it's dope. I mean,
Okay.
I like people's, you know, creativity. Not everybody's, well, there are quite a few people that are the same, you know, they come across as being clones of whoever else is popping at the time. But yeah, I mean, everybody's dope. Everybody has their own flavor, their own style. It seems like more now today, women are taking over the game.
Okay.
And as of right now, you see, like, I know in my eyes, I see more female artists coming about.
Okay, yeah.
Opposed to back when I was growing up and things like that. But yeah.
It is. It's interesting. I agree with that 1,000% because I'm a fan of music, all, you know, just in general. So there's not one genre that I have to stick with. It could be hip hop, R&B. It could be a little bit of country. You know, we were talking with Rick before. Rick is in the country. You know, it might be alternative rock and roll. You know, whatever it may be. But I see that as well with women having a message. You know what I mean? They got something to say right now. They clearly got something to say. So then tell me this. So how do you feel about the content of the music?
The content? I mean, in my opinion, I don't think people are much, I mean, these days aren't even really saying much of anything. It's a lot of, you know, just riding the beat. That's the way I feel it. Like, you know, people, you know, these days everything's either about popping perks or, you know, it's a lot of repetitiveness in my eyes.
So then, you know, Diddy made a comment, right? R&B is dead. And things like that. That's a big statement. That's a whole genre that pretty much brought a lot of us to this world. You know what I mean? And so, do you agree with that?
No, I mean, I think R&B is still dope. I mean, you got people like Ari Lennox. You know, she's real dope.
Her new project, by the way, is fire.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah,
Man,
real dope. You know, I'm still a fan of Raheem Devine.
Raheem Devine,
he still put out some good stuff.
I like Raheem Devine. You like her?
Oh, her is dope. Yeah.
See, now when we talk about musicianship, right?
Yeah.
So you saw real musicianship, and this is an opinion. This is like award-winning musicianships. You know what I mean? So that's what I feel. The game is missing.
Yeah. These days, I mean, people may be able to get down on the keys,
right?
But you don't really see too many people picking up guitars, hitting up the drums.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not.
Because you can't fake it.
Nope.
It's like boxing. Like, you know, you can play every sport, but you can't play boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't play boxing. You know, so it's one of those things you can't fake. Okay. So then, if the content really isn't there, then what's something that you see in music today that is inspiring? That's like, okay, I like that.
I mean, just like I said about the women doing their thing, I like that. I like how some of these artists are young and they getting it early, you know what I mean? Because back in the day, you know, if you was young, you was kind of gimmicky. But now, you know, you got some of these young dudes like 19, 18 years old that seem like they've been getting it early, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of tough upbringing, you can tell, but, you know, they got a story to tell, so I like that part of it.
I agree, and that's what it's about, right? It's about telling the stories because the music is gonna outlive everybody. Let's be honest. You know, my son is 9 years old and he knows Michael Jackson, but he was never on the earth with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he knows him. He knows him by the music.
Yeah,
and
sure.
like myself, I didn't listen to Bob Marley while Bob Marley was performing.
Yeah.
But I know Bob Marley's body work very well. You know what I mean? And so it's like one of those things when you make music, just like you said, you are conveying a message.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's really refreshing that you take that from where the industry is, especially somebody that has a perspective on it like you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, man, yeah. So we're gonna kind of switch gears a little bit. So you as a profession, you know, you're an appraiser. Mm-hmm. So you basically tell people how much they shit is worth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so many words, yeah.
So somebody may be sitting on a jewel or they may think, you know, they sitting on a jewel and you have to come in and tell them, you know, sorry to tell you, brother, but this ain't it. You know what I mean? So tell me what's that like, because that's not an average industry that, you know, I got a lot of friends. You're the only one that's an appraiser, literally, you know?
Yeah, there's very few appraisers, I mean, that I know. You know, being in this business since 2001, not too many black folks in this business. I mean, the first guy I worked for, he was a black man, but I haven't seen one since.
That's crazy.
So, you know, that's just one thing in itself. But yeah, I mean, it's a good business to be in. I mean, you know, free time. I mean, you have, you know, you get to go in and out of houses all day. Yeah. You know, okay. If you're into that kind of thing, you know, dealing with numbers, if you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, okay, it's a good profession. It's one of them hidden jewels that not too many people know about. You know, when people think of real estate, they tend to think, you know, agents, maybe, you know, loan officers. Not too many people think about appraising, but it's definitely needed. Something that the banks need in order to, you know, have some clarity on, like, you know, how much should I be loaning for this property, and all that kind of thing. So it's a good business. And
I would imagine it to be so, because the thing is, so much depends on you. So much depends on you. And at the Vegas, look at the Vegas market alone right now, right? So I've got relatives and friends that purchase homes, and before they actually moved into their home was worth 50 to 75% more than, you know, when they purchased it. So with that means the market is somewhat volatile. You know, right now, because it's constantly moving, and that has a lot to do with what you say. You know what I mean? So
but you know, it's one of those times, a weird time right now. You know, I was thinking, you know, once COVID hit, that we would have been having some real issues with the housing market, but it's hitting now. It's more of like a, you know, like a ripple effect later down the line, where we having these, you know, oversupply of houses on the market right now, where it's got a ton of houses available, and you know what that means? It means that, you know, prices are going to go down, because you got so many of these houses, especially in Vegas. Like, these houses are, you drive down the street, everything looks the same damn near. You know what I mean? For real though. So your house has got to stand out in some sort, and you got to, you know, be patient. I got to tell people to be like, as soon as if your house ain't selling in 10, 15, 20 days, no need to panic and drop it, you know, way too low, where you're just like, I just want to get up out of here. So that's what it looks like is going on right now. Okay. Yeah, everybody's just selling low and trying to take whatever equity they had in their house and just move on.
Hey, you know, I mean, I know it. So I'm in the solar industry, right? Yeah. So I see a lot of different happenings just in the renewable sector. You know, so I've been in the industry for some time. You know, Green the World is very, very supportive of the renewable industry. Yeah. And so real estate and solar are very comparable when it comes to, you know, you need a house to have solar. You know what I mean? And so that's just kind of a thing for today. And so one thing that I've noticed, man, a lot of times solar panels don't add the value to the home. You know what I mean? That a lot of people would expect or anticipate, you know, it adding. And that, to me, being in the industry, it really makes sense, because everybody moving into a house is paying a power bill.
Yes.
When you have a solar system, you're not paying that power bill.
No.
So if the average time you're living in a house, let's just call it 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, and you're paying an average of $200 every month.
Yeah.
Well, then with the system, you don't have that.
Yeah.
So that's what would make me wonder, you know, why is it that that's not, you know, acknowledged?
I just think that, you know, when it comes to solar panels, it's like, especially in the Las Vegas market, right? Who wouldn't want, you know, to pay what, $1, $2, whatever it is, $10 a month for power, opposed to paying $200, $300 for power for the same house, same size, same everything, you know. But I think that to not make it too drawn out, it's like a personal preference. That's the way I see it as. Like, you know, you could have a house, 2 houses for sale. One house has solar, one house has no solar. But the house that has no solar has brand new kitchen appliances, new countertops, new everything. The person that has the new countertops and new flooring and everything else nice, they're going to go for that property opposed to the property with solar on the roof. So in my job, we compare everything. And, you know, it's just really hard to come up with a number to say, okay, you got solar, it gives you 20 grand to your house, opposed to us looking at something that we know for sure has value, like new flooring, new countertops, new, those things are like definite, you know, set in stone that those things bring value to your property. So it's just like a lot of gray area in there.
It makes sense. What you're saying makes a whole lot of sense. It puts it all in perspective.
Yeah, because with time, it will. I mean, you know, once things stabilize and you have, you know, not so big a gap of numbers and homes and different value levels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll start to see that, you know, maybe a few years from now, you'll see that a house with solar there's going to be a number that we can see from
formula, so to speak.
Comparing the sales, because I guess the more and more houses that have solar on them, the more and more data we can put together to come up with a definitive, I guess it's, you know, adjustment number, as we say. But
okay, that's fair. Okay, word up. Well, yeah, man. Well, you know, before we get out of here, man, you know, I like to keep it short and sweet, but you know, music is something that's a universal language, right? We all speak that language. So on an ending note, I need a vibe. What's a song that you would go to?
Something I always go to recently, a young R&B artist named Mac. I don't want to butcher his last name. I think it's Ayers or Aries or something like that. Okay. He's a young white dude. Okay. He's got some soul to him. Okay. And a song called Walking Home. I put that on. I can just, you know, that's a vibe for me. But,
you know, compliments of Rick. So, you know, we out here. Distinguished discussions. We'll be back next time.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as my focus, I ain't seeing things the same.